This is Frank, and you're listening to Part 10 of PowerConcepts Excel Top 10 Functions. This is a chance to use the VLOOKUP and an HLOOKUP and maybe compare it with a VLOOKUP and a match when we're needing to find a two-variable solution. So first thing that I'm going to do is I have this data and I'm going to turn it into a table. So Control T, and I'm going to make that into a table. Then I'm going to give it a name for this column here, because this is going to be an important list for me. That's going to be the type. So I'm going to use my handy dandy Create from Selection button. That's going to be okay. If you missed some of the earlier videos, that came from here, Create from Selection. I'm also going to take these 5 cells here, and I'm going to name them something nice like region. And I'm going to hit Control A, and I'm going to call this whole bit of data something useful like surgery cost data. So now I've named the 3 important things. For this type here, I want to have a pick list. So I'm going to go to my data validation. Right now it says you can type anything in there, and I'm saying no, it has to be a list. And inside here, I'm going to use my F3 button. I'm going to look for my surgery type somewhere in there. There it is. I'm going to hit OK and OK. And same for the region. Use data validation. I'm going to go to list, press the source, and press F3. And we named it region. And so I'm going to hit OK and OK. And so now I've got one list here that tells me the region, and this one here picks the surgery type. So I want to do a VLOOKUP, but in order for the VLOOKUP to work, I need to know what row the answer is going to be in. So I'm going to use I need to get a region code, and the region code is based on these numbers here. So if this data is sideways, I'm going to be looking up the region and then comparing it to the data that's below it. So this is a chance to do an HLOOKUP equals HLOOKUP. I'm going to be looking up the region, comma. I'm going to be comparing it to this table here, comma. The answer is in the second row, and I need an exact match. So I push enter. So now when I choose northern, it finds the answer 4. And this is useful because this tells me in this table here that northern is the 4th column. So now we're going to do a VLOOKUP here. So this is equals to a VLOOKUP. And I'm going to look up the surgery type, comma, compared to that table. What did I call it again? Surgery cost something. Oh, there it is right there. And then I can push tab to accept it, and it selects the data. The column index number, well, that's from B3. So I'm going to say B3, and I need an exact match. So I push enter. So now when I change the region, it's basically changing the column. So Fraser is in the 2nd column. And when I change the type, that's changing the row. So I say foot ankle. Well, foot ankle is this one, and the answer here is 8,000. But of course I've said I don't like a formula that needs a formula. So what I would ultimately do is maybe take that formula and copy it and paste it into there. But this requires a whole separate table to make this work. There's a simpler way. Let's give this a try. I'm going to go to the match, and I'm going to say equals match, and I'm going to say I want to match this cell, comma, to this list right here. And it's going to tell me where Fraser shows up in that list, and it's the 1st location. If I change this here to northern, well, it's the 3rd location. But my cost data, the answer for northern will be in the 4th column. So I have to take this function here and just put a +1 on the end in order for it to give me, sorry about that, +1 to get the answer that I want. So I like this because it doesn't require any of this other information. I can delete this, and this is going to crash and burn. But if I take this formula now and copy it, hit escape, go back to this formula, and where it references B3, I'm going to replace B3 with what's in my match function. And I can push enter. And it works beautifully. But because I've copied and pasted, I don't really need this either. I can delete this whole function as well. And I can delete all of this. And I can get a very simple formula based on this. And the interesting thing that I can do is I can tuck this data away, which is exactly what's going to happen in the assignment. So let's give that a try. In this assignment, this is some sample data. I'm going to look for wait time. So we need to make a pick list in A2 and B2. And so they're actually already made. So I'm going to just click in here and I'm going to pick something. And I'm going to click this, and pick a region. And the data that I have is similar to this, but it's hidden. So in B3, use the match to get the column. So I'm going to go to B3 equals match to get the column. Well, the column is going to be based on the region. So I'm going to click on here, and the column reference is the region in wait time, the same as the heading name. And I need an exact match. I push enter, and it tells me that the answer is for northern is column 3. But I remember I have to put a +1 at the end of that. Then I need in B4, use a VLOOKUP to find the time from the wait time data. Okay, so here we go. So this is equals a VLOOKUP. And I'm going to be looking up the type of surgery in the table called wait time data. And the column index number is, well, it's right up above here, so I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to need an exact match. And it tells me what it is. The question is, how long will it take for hip replacement in the northern region? So hip replacement, northern region, well, the answer is 1.5 weeks. And for bonus, take this formula, copy everything except the equals, go to here, and where this references B3, paste that contents into here. And now I should be able to delete this formula, and everything should work just fine. And I can change this region to go to another region and get the right answer. And this is nice from hidden data that doesn't even live on this in this screen. I can get rid of this. That's just a picture. And so it's just really nice to have some data just tucked away.